follow-up question. Don't worry.
We've already started rolling.
I'm giving you some softballs here.
You just want me to boot these out of the park, huh? Discipline.
All right.
Discipline takes you. I mean, look at Liverpool. Huh? They didn't win until they got Klopp, who's very disciplined in everything that he does.
He's definitely an
Sir
interesting
Alex
coach.
Ferguson, when he was at United, disciplined.
Very disciplined.
It's all about discipline. Pep,
Fitness.
When he was at Barcelona, discipline.
Discipline.
Every team you ever see, like win the Lakers, I mean, you fucking the Chiefs, the Patriots, Alabama, discipline. It's like all discipline.
Discipline's huge.
Right, Lace?
Disciplined dog. It's a good one.
Yep. Poochie Gang, that's what her thing says.
Poochie Gang.
Poochie Gang, Poochie Gang, Poochie Gang, Poochie Gang.
Are you ready?
Like the slippers I got her?
We're going live.
I do. A lot.
We're going live.
We've been live.
No.
Oh, we've been talking about.
I just started recording, y'all.
Okay.
But we're about to go live.
Now we're alive.
Ain't nobody watching this. Let's go.
No, there ain't no one watching. You don't have to worry about that.
I know. We're not.
Streaming this on Facebook.
YouTube.
Let's go.
But like, no one knows.
Yeah.
20 people got alerted. Great.
I'll text my parents. My mom will watch.
Wow, 20 people. Easy. Only flutter when there's 20 million.
You flutter?
You flutter?
Mm-hmm.
I don't flutter.
Get nervous.
I really want like a drink. I want to be chatting with you for a while.
Yeah, go get a root beer.
I want like an alcoholic drink.
Oh, well, let's crack a couple cabas.
Are we gonna do that? Well then, y'all need to like talk about something. Talk about the game. Just talk about the game for a second.
This
While I go
game?
get a drink, just talk about the game.
Y'all are going to talk about shit.
No, I mean
I'm gonna have to cut this later.
discipline.
Remind yourself.
Fucking discipline. Yeah. There's something interesting I thought about Klopp and the Bulls coach.
Which one?
The old one.
The one,
Lakers coach.
the one who coached for the Lakers?
Yeah.
Isn't it Phil?
Yeah.
You gonna hand me a beer or not, man?
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Would you like a beer?
No, thank you.
You should get a beer. This is good. This is Alabama local.
I trust it is.
Yeah. What about Phil?
And Klopp.
Uh-huh.
And probably good coaches in general. They like make a narrative for the team.
Yeah, like always fighting.
Yeah, like the
Little-
season's gotta
Gotta
have a
theme.
story.
Gotta have a theme.
yeah, a theme or a
Mm-hmm.
narrative or something like that.
Gotta have a little theme. Interesting. You ever do that with your kids?
Have their life be a narrative?
No, like a little theme for the season.
Oh, I thought you meant with my children.
And the kids you coach.
No. Dude, I'm the assistant coach.
Okay, well, you can still add like a theme to it.
I think what I'm gonna do for Pinot is make his back because I don't think. Oh my god!
What a save.
I'm gonna try and make that back line
like anything?
solid.
So my first year at John Carroll, that was Coach D's only thing for me was I had to do his back line so we could win a championship. And so
First year coaching.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Don't give me that look like that, dude. Shit.
Yeah, my first year coaching, coming up from college, when I was with Coach D, the only thing that he asked me to do is like fix his back line. And so I took a basketball player, and I took one of our better center mids, and I turned them into center backs. And then we had two really good wing backs at that point. And it was just fixing those two. So we'd have like the guy who's a basketball player win every ball,
Great save.
and the center mid who's like
Hang behind him.
yeah, what's his name? Ethan, huh? I don't know if you remember. He's a little small, like midfielder kid.
Had a brother, Mergen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Alabama. He was a good little center back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so we moved him to center back, and he would like control the ball after that. So it was pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna introduce everything.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? I'm Chaz, and this is my podcast, ChazzyTv, and we're here with Chace and Solely, and you can't see Chase's girlfriend off the screen, but we won't talk about it since she's off the screen. We're here to talk about a number of things, but really I want to talk about youth sports in America, and I've been wanting to have this conversation for a long time. And keep in mind, these people have never been on a podcast before in their life. I don't even think they watch podcasts, so they don't really understand anything that's going on. When I turned on all the lights, they really were confused. And I think really all they want to do is watch the game going on behind the lights. So we're about to find out how interesting this conversation is really going to get.
Problems.
So
Problems.
let's go ahead and dive into this. Chase, I'm going to have to ask you a couple questions about your background so the audience, whenever they do listen to this, because we know no one's listening to it right now. But when they do listen to it, give me a background of you and sports. And don't get long. I don't want to hear your long-winded answers. All right? I already know, so.
I know you do. I was a professional bowler.
God bless it.
I'm joking. Okay.
Why do I do this?
You started.
Why did I do this to myself?
Play soccer, basketball, football in high school. Went and played soccer in college at Wallace State with Chaz, and then went to Valparaiso and continued to play soccer there. Moved back to Alabama and started my coaching career. And so, yeah.
And now where are you?
Now I work for the Colorado Rapids, coaching 4 of their youth teams in Denver. And that's what I do.
Okay, fair enough. That was actually a pretty good answer because I wanted it quick, and that was good. So you want to...
Well, I'm a high school coach and club coach, former player.
That's
not
fair.
Very good.
No. You always know when people are like, I suck, that they're actually not bad, and they probably are really, really good.
Relative to some guy named Sutton, I'm not very good.
Okay, fair enough.
This is serious.
I know. Stop
serious?
joking around over here.
Serious?
No playing chess solely. Even though that's competitive sports, right? That could be competitive sport. Mm-hmm. You can be competitive in chess.
I don't know if you want to go a direction of asking whether or not chess is a sport.
It is.
Oh, it's definitely
It's
a
a
sport. Well, what would define a sport then? How do you define one?
There's different types of sports.
I don't know.
Is cheerleading a
competition with 2 different entities? Is that it?
Yeah,
Is
you're
that-
competing against something.
You compete,
Yeah.
and that's
so
it.
in that case, cheerleading and dance is a sport.
Yeah, it's a
Debate
sport.
is a sport,
Sport.
then. Yeah,
Yeah,
any of
it's a
those would be
sport.
sports.
Yeah.
I can go for that. I think anytime that 2 people come together to compete over a set of rules,
It's a
then
sport.
That is a sport.
that's a sport, an event. Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
that's what they did in right, the gladiators and stuff.
Yeah, right. Those are all the Olympics are all just a bunch of
Yeah.
sports, right?
People used to beat the shit and kill each other.
Yeah.
I guess they still beat the shit. out of each
Gladiator sport, man. That
Yeah.
was a sport to go
Yeah,
kill.
see? Sports just changed, right? A little time.
We became a little bit more sophisticated about it. We don't create
I'm gonna
domes to
move
kill
this
people.
so I can drink.
No, you can't move that, dude. That don't work that way. All right, I'm just gonna dive into the conversation then because I really want to get into really the problems of youth sports in America. Let's start with what do you guys think are the top problems with sports in America right now? Youth sports. We're not talking about professional or college or any of that. We're talking about youth sports. Anybody under the age of 18 going through the system. And we're going to I understand that we're probably going to talk about soccer more than anything. So we're chatting more about soccer. So this is more for the soccer people out in the world. So really in the end, what is the biggest problems that y'all see? And we can be generic right now. Don't have to get into any details.
Go ahead.
What do y'all think are the biggest problems?
Well, I think the first question you have to ask is, you got a whole bunch of kids out there. What is their end game for this? Because the difference between Chase and I is, I haven't coached youth sports for almost a year now, but the kids that I coached were second team on a Division II club that they were there to provide an experience for kids. They were not there to win trophies. That's not what my club did.
This would be recreational soccer, right? There's different levels to a game, all sports, and there's recreational level where you're doing it just for more fun and just to enjoy the social aspect of the sport. And then there's the competitive aspect. So you're saying that you were more for the recreational side in this sense.
Yes, it's kind of a, what do you like, a catch-22 or something like that. They want to be competitive, but at the same time, hey, I'm not going to make it. I have band practice.
Yeah. You
Oh.
like the idea of the competitiveness,
Yeah,
but you don't actually want to be that competitiveness because of what it would take.
the sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So wait, all right. What's the biggest problem though that you see with that? Is that
So-
they don't want to sacrifice, or like where do you see the issues underlying there,
So from that end,
or you don't see any problems? Maybe you don't see any issues with the recreational side because really the issues that I think we're going to get into are going to be at the higher levels. Do you see any problems at the lower levels? And maybe you don't. That's fair.
yeah, I mean, this is all on a recreational level essentially. So you don't. It's not like there's any kind of. No kids that I coach are going to go to make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I had a couple kids go play college,
Yeah.
and like that's.
Did they get scholarships? Or did they just go and they played?
I probably had a handful of them get like small scholarships,
Yeah, that's fair.
but there's not a lot of that in Alabama.
Yeah.
Um,
This is true.
the biggest problem, there's just random small ones when you look at recreational stuff like that, and it all goes down to like, as small as I'm a parent and my kid didn't play, but 30 minutes, and I'm upset about that.
So this is really a parental issue that you're getting kind of diving into.
Could be parental, could be different entities within the club don't see eye to eye. Like at Homewood, we may have a really competitive team, but our director, our club methodology and way of life and how we think about things is we're here to entertain and give you a experience, maybe teach you some things. But those handful of kids on that top team that are legit and good, they're not getting that.
Well, and
so
we
there's a little bit of
But then they'll just leave.
They do. They
this
do.
is where we get in the idea of a feeder club. And feeder clubs are the clubs that you're kind of talking about where y'all don't provide that next level. So if you want to go to that next level, you're going to get fed into it through this system.
That's one of the problems, right? Is what he's saying is like most clubs don't want to consider themselves feeder clubs.
Well, no one wants to
That's-
acknowledge
That's what it
themselves as
is.
this. Yes.
It's like, but if you have a niche and you do that really well, and you do it better than all the other clubs. So like Homewood could be a very good one because they have a massive community, and they probably aren't as expensive as Vestavia or Busa, but they don't have the higher levels of like ECNL and what they can offer or coaching. But like, you could get all those younger kids from like U12 and below, and that could be your niche. And then you send them off to Busa and Vestavia.
Yeah, but
You've done your job, and then more people, and then you almost have that like relationship where you're like, yeah, like, you know, you get a third team, second team from Booster or Vestavia, and you're like, cool, we're gonna send them to Homewood. They're gonna develop, but we'll just get them back again.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is, though, is that the people who run those clubs need to acknowledge
What's
the
up?
fact that they're not going to be the top dog,
Well, that and
and they can't do that.
it's that, and then like other clubs being okay, like being like, okay, we'll lose money for this many, but we're gonna get it back here because we have things to offer.
Well, yeah, you think Busa wants to give up rec kids?
Well, you can do it
No,
Red
they
Kids.
want to take
It's-
all the kids.
Well, Red
Yeah.
Kids is a lot of money. It's
That
not
is
the Red
money.
Kids. It's like the third and fourth teams from like
They want that too.
from like
They want to create as many teams in an age group as they
Yeah.
can. When I
Oh,
was
yeah.
there at Busa,
Oh,
it was
too. 5
teams deep. And the last 2 teams were like, oh my God, this is not going to go well.
It's the business model. Every kid's going to make you money.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
You can't cut a kid because that's cutting money out of
Colorado,
your
man.
budget, you know?
Rapids have 10,000 kids.
God bless it, man. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Concord, doesn't
Yeah.
Concord have like 100,000? I mean, it's ridiculous, some of these clubs and what they have, you know? But, like, I get their idea behind it, but I guess there are a lot of fundamental issues to that. So I'm going to
You would
move.
have to go. You would have to like break them up into tiers, right? Like you'd have to have your competitive section with like competitive DOCs, and then you'd have to like tier it off, I guess, if you have that many kids.
Well, hold on here.
Because then you have to have like, if you want to do all of it, right?
Yeah.
You have to have a section where like kids just want to have fun, and they're gonna miss tournaments and they're gonna miss games for other shit they want to do, and you have the other kids who are like no life at all. It's school, sports.
Yeah, I had
We're
no
done
life.
here.
I had no life growing up. I played soccer. I went on tournaments every weekend, and that's all I did. I mean, I played 3 games a weekend, and then I would practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then travel Friday, play Saturday, Sunday, and then start all over again. You know, like,
The best life.
yeah, I may take a Wednesday off because that was the running day, and Mondays were goalkeeping, but you know, like that was the Woo! I got a Wednesday off,
Yep.
you know, from conditioning. All right, hold on. I want to take a step back because it suddenly reminded me of the conversation that I really want to have of what is the competitive system like in America versus like Europe. So like the idea for most kids, if you're playing at a competitive level, is you want to go play pro, right? I mean, that's like your goal, right? College is a stepping stone, so you could say like I want to go play college, but really the idea is you want to go play at that next higher level. So you're trying to become as best as you can. What is the system like in America? And what the system like in Europe, and how are they different? Because I know these are very different, and I think this is the underlying problem with our shittiness in U.S. soccer and the global stage or whatever. Anybody want to explain this, or am I about to have to?
I mean, he's got more experience with that.
Yeah, that's tough though. I would say, I mean, the youth is like some of our youth systems are really good because we have all the
Yeah, but what's
coaches.
the macro level? You want to play at the highest level. So as a kid in America, what do you do? What do you do? You're 9 years old. You want to go play at the highest level of soccer. What do you do? I don't know why you're like thinking about this. You coach for the damn clubs that do this.
I mean, I would have gone to.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
Atlanta,
thinking too
yeah,
specifically. I'm saying you
like
want to
an
what?
MLS Academy,
You want to go play for a club?
ECNL,
Or do you want to play for a rec program or your high school? Or do you want to play in what leagues do you want to play
I would
for?
never
And
play
how
high
does the
school.
structure work for a youth kid in America?
I mean, I would say like you're looking at trying to get into a big club where all the players are going to funnel into that club as you get older.
It's centered around clubs, right?
So
And
that
and,
way-
and Europe would be kind of the same way. They
Yeah.
have clubs, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, you go through kind of our progression of the youth program system,
Yeah.
right? Like a DA or an
Yeah.
ECNL, these leagues that are supposed to be top tier that you're invited into, and you try to get into one of these leagues where all the top tier kids play in, right? This would be the America system, and then at which point you're then going to go to college.
Yeah, but I think college is where we suffer. 'Cause
That's
before
where the big
college-
problem takes
'cause
place.
Before college, it's actually, I mean, we could probably compete with anybody.
This is
Not-
true.
I mean,
Well,
we'll
because-
suffer in certain ways and some things, but like you can watch our younger teams play, and especially our youth national teams, and they're good, man. They can compete. And then like
Well, at 18, what happens to you?
I think it's I don't.
You go to college, right? You
yeah,
play
I
for
mean,
a college
I would
team.
not blame it on
Well, what do they do in
college
Europe?
soccer in general.
I would
they're already
absolutely
pro,
blame it.
But I would blame it on the NCAA with the rules where
That's
like,
college.
I know,
That's
but I'm
college.
just
You're
saying,
just blaming
like,
college.
in terms of like you can't touch a soccer ball for 3 months, and yet like a
Oh well, I
pro-
mean the rules are just
Right. That's
retarded. You know, like
So wait, I got questions because
oh yeah, we got questions coming now.
I mean you got so the two systems are in Europe they turn 18 and they get a contract.
You try to go pro because over there you have pro levels where you could make $100 a month playing pro. You can't do that over here.
Well, there's just so much more institutions
Yeah.
that are capable of paying
what do you got like in England, like 8 tiers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
9
Well, why
tiers?
don't we have the tiers? Why don't we have tiers?
it's not as big a part of the culture here. I
Yeah,
mean,
nobody's invested in it, right?
Like why college? We lose money on soccer in college. You know,
Well,
like without football, we couldn't subsidize half the sports that go on. So like, why are we even doing it? It makes no sense to me in that aspect. Europe clearly doesn't do that. They try to take their kids to the professional level and go play at the next highest level. And in high school, it's all about I'm going to get the best athletes and try to win these games versus your athletes.
goes back to culture.
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
a culture thing.
I can't argue with that, but like, how did that start? You know, because that's a huge problem. And it's gonna. We spend 4 years degrading our players rather than building them up. So then when they go play the pro level, they're shot. They're just trying to outrun players, and by that time, you're not outrunning European kids. Like those guys are gonna run just as fast as you. Now they're better than you.
Or yeah, I know like a lot of teams they like don't even like go like they'd rather sell their draft picks in unless like draft for money and just buy like South American players or some like Caribbean players
Well,
or
yeah.
European players because they're like they're 19, they're already playing pro. Like you've played and like
Does
some
high
league
school? I mean,
tournaments.
does college prepare you for professional soccer?
Some colleges.
Like
would say-
what? Which ones? Name one.
I mean, girls it'd be like Stanford, North Carolina.
You think they're actually playing solid? And you're talking about girls.
Or
Would you say
boys-
this for guys too?
Guys, I mean, you would say, I mean, all like
You
Duke,
think they're playing good soccer at these schools?
Virginia, Wake Forest.
Like they could compete at an international level.
I think it's hard, right? Like, because you're getting people that can compete for the D1 level. And
That's
like,
supposed to be the
maybe-
best soccer players we have at that age.
No, but
So
then
shouldn't
you're-
they be able to compete at
there's
a
also,
under
like,
20 level?
What is there, like, I don't know how many colleges there are, man. So then, like, all that talent spread out. But
How
then-
many clubs are there over there in Europe?
I know, but then you're just like, look, you do that, and then it's like, okay, but like, what, one player, two players might go pro for that team. We're like at the same age. Like, they're like the seniors, what would be seniors, instead of playing with freshmen, right, who might not ever go play pro, are now like those people in Europe or South America or whatnot at that same age are playing with pros that are like 30 years old.
Yeah.
And like understand the game and have taught you other things. So like instead of you teaching like an 18-year-old what to do, you're like with some like person who's like 36-year-old and been
Learning
on
the
the block.
craft.
Yeah.
There's an actual craft to
Yeah.
like playing in the league
Yeah.
that you will learn from somebody.
Yeah, where like you're still like you just finally got a hold of college and now you're like done. You
Which
know?
is not international soccer.
No, but then like but everybody else is like, cool, we're playing in this tournament here. I have to worry about an agent or like living in a hotel for this many months.
Well, like
or-
in true college fashion, it provides nothing to you to get into the real world. I mean, this is a total joke, you know? Like whether you're getting the education or you're getting in the soccer world, you go nowhere afterwards because they've prepared you for nothing, you know? Like it just pisses me off at the fact that like once you graduate from college as a soccer player, you are not ready for the next level. You're just not ready. And in fact, the USL League is a glorified professional college level to me. It's like right before the MLS, and the MLS is not some international superstar program, you know?
better.
But USL just reminds me of a bunch of college, like they're the all-star college guys that are now just not able to quite make it to the MLS yet. So where do they go? They go to the USL.
They got to hone more skills or they lost skills and
Yes.
in
You
college,
lose.
so they have to get back and things like that.
Did you? Let me ask you a question. When you went and played high school soccer growing up, did you get better or worse than club soccer?
Worse.
Worse. So when you went and played for 6 months over on this high school team, you came back to club afterwards, and you were then worse than you were when you first went in.
There's a couple, like I always tell people, there's always like benefits, right? Like the social aspect of high school is always cool. And always
But
a
then
good thing for
that
growth.
but that also then gets down to what's your end goal. Is your end goal to have fun, or is it to give up those
I
things
know,
to
but
go
I'm
play at the
saying,
next
like,
level?
It depends. Like some people think there's a pros, some people think there's a cons. Like that has to be put out there.
Agreed.
I think like coming in as like a freshman or something, and if you're playing JV, I would never do that. I've told kids.
Don't do it.
like, when
If you're
I'm-
playing competitively, don't do JV.
Yeah, I mean, I told like I have an 06 team, and they do like this.
But they may not have
weird-
another option.
weird thing in Colorado where they do like a secondary league when they go into high school. But like, I'm like, look, if you're not making varsity, don't go play JV. I'm like, that's just a waste of your time. Like, you can train here all the time and actually get trained with kids that are like in the same level instead of kids that are just coming from your school. I was like, if you're making varsity and there's a chance that like you actually have a decent coach and there's some players that are going to get you going, like that might be cool, like freshman and sophomore year, because then you're playing almost 3 years up, right? Like, so you're getting like you're gonna have to be more physical. Like people are gonna yell at you. You're gonna mature. You're gonna have to mature much quicker than you were just like staying on that team. Like mentally, you're gonna have to grow to be stronger.
Agreed.
So like there can be like things in that way.
I
think
agree,
like, you're like if you're a junior and your first time is and varsity, it's like, come on, man, like you could be.
But do you really think varsity training and games and all of that is that much better than JV?
Yes.
That much better?
Yeah.
Enough that you think that you should skip out on club to go play varsity?
It's
No, that's not what I'm
situational.
saying. I
That's-
was saying the other way around.
You would skip out on high school to go play club.
Yeah, I would skip out in high school. to play
Varsity,
club.
yeah.
But
I-
I'm saying if you want to go do it, I would not go play. I would not skip club soccer to go play JV soccer.
Let's talk about varsity. You say it's situational. When would you play varsity over club?
Depends on the coach, the team. Like Mountain Brook could have 18 incredible players on their varsity team, and I'm a freshman. Our coach is still going to be the coach of Mountain Brook that's been the same guy for like 20 years.
He's probably a football coach.
Yeah. No offense, Mr. Webb. I like you.
I don't know you, Mr. Webb.
I know Mr. Webb.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Cares
granted, but like, all right, you go play in your first game. We would literally go play Pelham, and like, all right, we're going home at halftime, guys. Is that a game that you actually become better? Like, do you get better in that? So, like, yeah, there's some social aspect. There's some fitness and discipline and weight gain and, like, strength and conditioning and stuff like that. I get those things. But, like, day in and day out, it becomes a joke. And the top-level players don't take it as serious
You
as
can
they
trade
should.
more.
Well, I said it is situational. Imagine if you have a team of not as good players, like you go to Gardendale, but their coach is somebody who like drills discipline and like really gives a shit. Like if you fuck up outside of soccer, I'm coming to get you.
Yeah.
And like that's actually beneficial whether you're gonna be
Yeah.
a pro or not.
I can't argue with that. I can't.
So
Yeah, it's hard because everybody's situation is different, right?
Yeah.
Wherever you play.
Now, in general Alabama, you're not really gonna get that very consistently.
It's all high school. Like Colorado's the same way.
I don't
Most
know.
people just stick with club. That's why the club system's so good in Colorado.
I couldn't tell you a legit varsity high school soccer coach right now. Are you a high school varsity soccer coach? No? You're not in Alabama, so
I used
shut
to
up.
be.
Yeah, well, you're not now. So, like, give me one. I guess Oak Mountain always had some pretty good guys. I always liked Oak Mountain's people. I liked Blight. I liked what's his face that was the guy's coach. I like Patridge. No, what's the new guy? He played for the Hammers for a little, or he tried out for the Hammers for a little.
There
What's
was
the-
one guy from the Northeast.
Yeah, I forgot his
He used to
name.
play soccer with us.
Yeah.
Dan.
Dan. I like Dan. I like DiPiazza.
Yeah.
I liked you. But, like, come on, man. These are very rare that you get this, and only the bigger schools really even provide stuff like that. You think Chelsea's going to go pay for a super really good coach?
I mean,
Come
out
on.
of all the players.
They've got the best talent in the world at Chelsea. Oak Mountain and Chelsea are just powerhouse programs. Vestavia, too, somehow. I don't even understand how Vestavia has just unlimited talent flowing through that school, and they never win anything. But I just don't
The
get
girls have in the last 2 years.
Yeah, the girls do. Guys, never.
Yeah.
Even though when I went through, it was like
Oh, y'all are the best players.
we had everybody. I mean, we had everybody. We had to do the 6-man rule across all our teams. We had 6 on freshmen, we had 6 on JV, and we had 6 on varsity 1 year. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
that's just-
another level of bullshit added to high school soccer.
Yeah.
Oh man, the rules that go into high school soccer
Fucks
are just
clubs up, too.
oh my god.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what the 6-man rule is, you can't have more than 6 people playing on a roster for a high school team from the same club team. But can you have 6 playing from the same high school on the same club team? The 6-man
Yes.
rule doesn't exist in the club
No, it
world.
doesn't.
That's only a high school
That's
rule,
only a
right?
high
Yeah.
school rule.
Because we play by FIFA rules in club, right?
Yeah, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Club is like you play to develop, you play to win.
You play to be the best and to train to be the best. All right, I have to dive into to move on to the conversation, parents, because this is always my favorite conversation.
No, we got to go back, bro. Look,
What?
Let me take this over.
Okay, all right.
All right, we got to go back.
Oh,
Because
okay.
you asked what was wrong with youth soccer, and then you're going on your weird shit.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to that because he said,
Well, because y'all,
We talked about the recreational side and the small problems
"Yeah,
there.
that's not
Yeah.
like the actual."
well,
on
parents,
the other side.
Hold on, bro.
parents
I
to me
got
are the
this.
biggest
I
problem.
got this.
But we'll keep going. Keep
So
going.
when I got called by 2 people that are doing their masters, and one of their questions was what was wrong with. They were doing like their thesis paper. They're like, "What is wrong with youth soccer?" And I'm like, "Everybody's gonna tell you it's money, paying for money, like how expensive it is.
I don't think that's the problem.
like traveling,
I see 2 real problems.
clubs, everything like that." And I was like, "Bro, the problem is parents."
That's problem number
And I
1.
was like, "That's the biggest one.
Yes.
it's always parents."
That is number 1.
What do you think? What's the second one?
By far, internal politics.
Oh yeah, holy
that
shit.
just destroys everything
Yeah.
because then you
Were
start
you gonna say
playing
the same thing?
I mean, I think it
maybe a
is.
different wording, but
No,
like
I mean, I think it is
same idea.
Yeah,
What would you say it was?
I think
These 2
parents-
concepts ruin youth soccer. I got out of youth soccer
I
because
think
of them.
parents just in general for like competitive sports. If you're gonna broaden it, it's all about like
I'm-
parents.
Oh,
I'm
well, yeah.
curious to hear what y'all say about parents. But my number 1 is essentially the internal politics. I call it like tribalism.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And if you're not in the in crowd,
Oh,
you're on the
you're
out crowd and good luck. You know, like you better be working your way in, or you're truly out and you're screwed. You know.
Imagine if Birmingham was a club, just Birmingham.
Oh my God.
Atlanta, well, maybe you split Atlanta into 2 or something like that, but like we all worked towards the same end goal.
That would be really nice, but you can't. The biggest problem that I always saw when I would be like, why don't we merge? When I was at Busa, I would always say, like, why don't we merge with Vestavia? You know what the number one problem that I always heard people tell me was? Who runs it and how much do they make? That is your biggest problem with merging to make a better club and a better program for kids, is that you're worried about who's running it and who's going to get paid? Like, that's your biggest... That, to me, just told me everything about the tribalism of this whole thing. They only care about themselves. They only care about where they are, and they don't give a shit about anybody else. And they'll screw you in a heartbeat to make sure that they continue getting what they get if they find you or deem you a threat of any kind, or not going to follow their rules. Look, Ben Parks.
I was about to say, we're definitely about to, like,
I
drop
know
some
that
names.
you're doing shady shit, you know, and if people don't do your shady shit too, then don't like it, you know? Like, that's the tribalism, though, you know? And, like, that's the reason I got out. It's because you witness this crap, and you're like, screw this, man. I get paid $25,000 a year to get shit on all day. Why would I want to do this anymore? The kids are, like, the best part, and that's 1% now to the parents in my ear, and this dude telling me that I'm going to get fired if I don't go do some shady shit, you know? Like, it's just crazy to me in that aspect. So, yeah, that's where I come from the whole thing. Why, you don't find parents to be an issue?
Well, again, I'm coming from the angle of my club typically teaches the parents and explains to them, this is what we are as a club. We sell an experience.
That's fair. That's fair.
The parents get it from the beginning, like, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
I've only ever had one parent issue.
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ.
I had one parent issue, a practice. You know? It was like, which parent's going to cause me the problems this week? And I did goalkeepers. I only had a couple of these people. You know? Like, what are y'all so angry about? Man, they would literally just pace behind our benches during games and just mouth shit. Why am my daughter playing full 90s? Why isn't she playing full 90s? You got Jolly Green Giant in there in the goal right now. Why am my daughter playing full 90s? This is the shit that would go on in the back of our heads in the middle of a game, during the middle of an ECNL
Did that
tournament.
guy say, though, that you have a giant in goal? Let's keep the
A
fucking
Jolly Green Giant.
I'll take a giant in the goal.
Well, she was Jolly Green Giant. I mean, she was very robotic movements at that time. Granted, that was one of the better goalkeepers to ever come out of Busa, in my opinion, when she left. But at the time, yeah, it was really rough watching her go through that. And I understand why he was saying that crap, but, like, you're a parent. You have no business being over here. And you shouldn't be saying shit, especially about another child. It's not even your kid, man. It's like a 16, 15-year-old girl. What are you doing? Get out of here. You know, and then they'll go and they'll take you out afterwards and, like, drink you up and, like, buy you a bunch of stuff. And, like, then they're like, all right, is my daughter going to play? Dude, it gets shady, man.
That's why you never accept alcohol.
Oh, dude, I learned my lesson
Anybody.
big time from that one.
I never drink
Dude,
around
do not
any
go out
parent
drinking with
or
parents.
any coach.
Do not do it.
coach, any parent will never drink around.
What are your parent experience? Like, you said parents is one of the top 2.
Holy shit. Oh, you don't know about mine. I don't have time for mine.
Well, here we are.
I don't even have time, even though this is what we set this up for.
But we don't have enough time.
All right, well, give us some good stuff. Don't be scared, Chase.
I'm not.
I just called out Ben Parks.
I just
Not that he can
I
do
know.
shit about it.
I shouldn't have deleted those emails. I should have just read these emails to y'all.
Oh, man,
God.
that would have been awesome if we just started reading emails out from these parents.
Yeah, oh my god.
Hey, yo, man, it's what I always said. Email a day. You got to email every day, Chase.
So
Got to
it
wake up
was
and email,
when
man.
I took over it was when I was at Rush, and I coached in the developmental academy. I was coaching the 05 team, and the 05 team, they were getting slaughtered, like 10-0 by Rapids. So we were essentially losing to, like, clubs that were like Homewood. We were like Busa losing.
You're
to clubs that
supposed
were-
to be top tier,
Yeah.
and you're losing to the
Yeah.
second division
like,
teams.
but not just like losing. They were already by a developmental academy, right? Like
Yeah.
this junior developmental academy.
You were clearly losing.
But they were like getting like 5-0, 6-0 to teams they shouldn't ever lose. Like
So,
ever.
yeah, of
clubs
course.
they shouldn't lose to, right?
The parents are going to get pissed.
Well, this is before I got there,
Okay.
and so then I get there and I'm like, look, so I bring in 5 new players, That's just what I do.
Yep.
I'm just gonna bring
You're
in-
recruit. You got to recruit. Gotta recruit.
Bring in some new
The only thing
players.
Ben Parks is good at.
Yeah, he is.
He can recruit. That dude can recruit probably better than anybody.
And so I go in and I'm gonna set a tone, right? Like we're talking about discipline. I'm coming in. I'm just gonna. And you know me, like I'm a crazy person sometimes. Like,
Especially on the field, man. I
I'm
love
over
it.
the top.
But your
sometimes.
presence is what makes you a great coach, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I hate giving you compliments. We all know this. But that dark, deep, like loud presence that you have, it scares the shit out of kids. And it's like, this dude, I have to listen to him,
Yeah.
or he's going to like eat me or something.
'Cause I'll scream at you more.
You know.
And like I come in and we improved, right? Like we're 0-0 with the Rapids at halftime,
Okay.
and
So
they
parents should be happy.
and they're like having to change their entire formation. Like Marcelo
you-
Balboa, who was a professional player, is their coach, and like they're gonna have to change things. We end up losing, of course, because they can adapt and change, and my players had to be more structured, and we never got the time.
They
to,
were
like,
more prepared for the challenges
well, they're
of
more
the
prepared
game.
at younger ages.
Yeah.
And so like I'm still going, and we're playing this game. We're playing Pride. I remember, and we went down there, and I ripped these kids apart at halftime. I was like, look, if we're gonna drive an hour and 20 minutes to get our asses beat, just tell me, and I won't show up next time.
Now, be honest, did you cuss?
Yeah, I said ass.
You said that? Okay.
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna. Tell
Well, I
them
mean, that's a
no.
big deal in the
I'm not-
coaching world. Is some coaches will take it there, some will not, and
I
I'm
won't
kind of
say-
curious.
I won't say like
Obviously, like
The
fuck
F
or
word,
something.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
get
won't
that.
say
Yeah,
that.
but like shit
I'll say
and
shit,
ass
I'll
and
say
stuff
ass.
in the right
I'll say
moments to
damn.
kids, it's impactful.
And
You
it
know.
depends the age. But I was like, dude, like you're wasting my time here. Like, stop wasting my time.
This
Like,
pissed off a parent.
holy
This
shit.
totally pissed off a parent.
God.
Yeah, there's no
My
way.
director got like 4 emails that day, and it was like, dude, you said that they were wasting your time. I was like,
Yes.
oh yeah.
I did absolutely.
And then I had
Yes.
a parent email me and was like, hey, I'd like to talk to you, but you better keep it short and sweet because I don't want you wasting my time. And I was like, okay.
I would.
That's all you need to know is okay. Like, you either come to play or don't. Like,
That's
I
when
don't
you
care.
write back and say, no, I'm going to be making up the time you wasted of mine, you asshole. You know?
See, there's a difference. Right?
Yeah.
Who got out and who's still in?
Oh, this is why I got out. Is because I was like, I'm about to go off
It's
on
gotta
some
be
people.
Political.
Yeah, and I
It's
can't.
all about
I
that.
couldn't do it anymore.
No, and that's why I really like the Rapids a lot, is because they're like both in that way. And like, if parents are wrong, they'll be like, look, dude, like, this is what you do.
Yeah.
And they
But-
have a lot of like international guys, and they'll be like, dude, in England or like wherever, they'll be like, if we don't have another goalkeeper, one of the field players is going to play goalkeeper during training. And they like,
You might have a kid cry if you did that in America.
well, I mean, no, we did it here. We did it in Colorado, and some parents are getting mad, and they're like, this is what you do. Like, you need another goalkeeper. You just stick a kid in the goal. Like,
My child
you
does
just play.
not do that.
And it's like, bro, get
They
over
are
it.
a forward and they score goals, Chase.
It's unreal. But like the parents that I had at Rush, like some of the teams, I was like, bro, y'all need to stop, man.
Well, they harass you. They want things exactly the way they want them. They
Oh,
try to
man.
like bribe you. They try to like just trick you and manipulate you.
Well, I'm one of those people. Like, I'm like, cool. If you want to give me things, I'll take them. But nothing's happening.
No.
Right? Like,
I'm
you
just
did
taking
this.
your stuff,
Yeah,
and that's
like-
really all that's
like,
happening
if you
right
buy
now.
me dinner, thank you. But like, your kid's not good enough. I told you, and that's just the way.
Now,
it's
let me
happening.
ask you a question, all right? And you're free to answer this one too, because I'm curious if you've noticed this. Who are the parents that you have problems with? The ones that are used to competitive sports and have played and or did sports, or the ones who never played sports?
It's usually the ones that never really played higher level sports.
Yeah, it's
Or
hard.
the people that are like, dude, I played high school sports, and I'm like,
The ones
okay,
who
cool.
think they played high
Yeah.
level, but they
Yeah.
actually didn't play high level.
Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
okay, well,
Yeah.
my like 8-year-old girl over here is about to play high school sports right now.
Yeah.
Like, don't come talk to me about this high level sport that you used to play. Or like, oh, I used to play left back. Like, I think you should do this. I'm like, all right, man. Well, in the 60s when you play left back, we're different now. And this is what this guy needs to do. And this is the way that I see the game. And this is the way the club is teaching us. And if you don't agree with that, there's other clubs you can go to.
Well, like that guy, I would just say, "Oh, you mean when you could pass the keeper the ball back and he could pick it up with his hands?" Yeah, times have
Like-
changed a little bit, man.
All you do is play direct, and like I need your kid to learn how to like cross the ball and tuck in and shoot and play in the midfield or play as a winger or go play as center back.
Be diverse. Be a diverse player. Yeah, yeah. I hate to be snobby, and Mallory knows this about me, but I'm very snobby on this one. But
are very snobby.
especially when it comes to soccer, if you tell me, "Oh yeah, I was good, man. I played for my varsity team," probably acting like you played really high level soccer. Probably was not that good. No offense to that person, you know. Now, I've also seen a bunch of players who suddenly in like college years and later on, so you're a prime aspect of this one actually now that I think about it. In high school, you were a good player. Not bad at all. Now, oh my God, dude, you're a dirty player today, man. Like,
High school, he was not very good.
I was definitely.
I was
a
trying to be
practice
nice,
player.
Chase.
No,
No, I'm just kidding. For real, I thought you were a pretty good player. You were not a bad
By
player.
senior year, I was a practice player,
he was a practice player.
but I wasn't as much of a gamer. But then, yeah,
Dude, something happened. You today,
once I went
you
to
can play as
Alabama-
well as any of us
'Cause
can
'cause
play.
he trained with me.
I don't think I saw you again until I was like 20.
Yeah, and then you got good again.
No, actually, I was really good.
Yeah, exactly. Remember? When
I
we
do remember, and I tore because we trained so much. I tore this, and it's
Why do you
I,
think
like,
you got so
destroyed it.
good? Out of curiosity, what do you think
Well-
changed from post high school? I mean, because you went to college and suddenly became a freaking
That's a-
master at the game.
that's
so.
a conversation about what it takes to get good at something, and
That's
that's
a
not-
conversation I'd love to have
that's
with you.
not really
then.
a talk that we're getting into. But
What?
Can I want to
What?
hear like a condensed like 5 minutes or less version of what you think it takes and what you did. What did you do and what do you think it was that you did?
He
You
didn't
know?
drink beer.
I'll tell you exactly what I did.
Okay.
We had an indoor court built in our rec center at Alabama, and it played with like a little fuzzy ball. I was there all the time.
Every day.
All the time. They were like
Just playing all the time.
They were all the like when I went to Alabama, all of a sudden people played all the time.
Yeah.
All these like ethnic groups that
Yeah.
were there as like travel students. I don't
Yeah.
know a better way to put that.
Yeah.
But I became like friends
Yeah.
with all those people,
Yeah.
and we played
Yeah.
all the time.
Well, because international people want to play soccer. So when they come over here, they get in these little groups and they
Yeah,
play, and
we
you can
always
go
had
and you can go jump into those groups with them and go play with them,
Yeah. So basically, I was just like,
immersed into it and learned.
yeah, all the
Trial by
time.
fire kind of thing. Yeah.
It takes getting to like a point where you just sit down and do something for like an insane amount of time.
Well, it's talent code. You've
And,
read the
like,
talent code.
there's-
You read the talent
Yeah,
code?
a long time ago. I feel like there's somewhere you get inside yourself that's just like, I don't know. You connect with it, and
You're training your body and your mind to understand something that you've never done. And something like soccer takes so much like physical abilities to understand the motions and the movements and the finesse to how you trap a ball and pass a ball. And it's hard because it's your feet and not your hands. And most people don't use their feet for anything other than to just walk and stand. So this becomes really difficult. So the idea of the talent code is like 10,000 hours. You need to spend 10,000 hours repetitively doing this to become good at it, to become truly talented at something. And that's really what you did. You just spent 4 years or 10,000 hours playing this game, and finally your body just became... Dude, and it's
Yeah,
impressive,
we
man,
can-
because you are a talented player today.
we can talk about it more in depth because I've done other stuff and like spent a lot of time doing it, and I've just kind of compared like this
you-
thing that I can do versus this thing.
Did
that
you
I
get as good at those things?
Not yet. I'm still,
Not yet. But do you think you spent more time on soccer and you just haven't reached that amount of time for these?
Yeah, but there's also like a weird like love of just dribbling around a soccer ball.
The game.
Whereas I don't necessarily have that with the other things that I've like spent a lot of time doing.
That's huge,
Building
man.
a deck.
That's definitely...
Building lots of decks. No.
Chase
I-
wants you to build a deck with him so bad. He's like, we can call Solid. We'll get a deck over here.
I build a deck with you.
Angie, we're gonna build a deck in Colorado. We're going to Angie's. We're building a deck.
Y'all gotta see my dad's
We'll house
deck.
you.
It's fucking dope.
I'll feed you. I'll give you Vivi.
Beer me, feed me,
Yeah.
House
what,
me.
What else you need?
wood.
Got lots
You can
of
sleep right there and help me build a deck down by the
Y'all
creek.
got a nice little wraparound up there.
Dude, I want one by the creek, though. I want
You
one.
want like a dock.
Oh, yeah.
wood. Yeah, what's the dock?
Yeah.
Where all the
Oh, you need a
rattlesnakes-
bridge.
Where all the
You
rattlesnakes.
need like a drawbridge. Or
I
something.
need a. There it is. I was gonna say I need a bridge that I can take back, so I don't have
Yeah,
people
so
from
all
the park coming
rattlesnaks-
over.
Rattlesnakes will be under there.
Dude.
Water moccasins.
Dude, there's gonna be all kinds of snakes,
Oh
man.
my God.
All right, we're derailing here. We gotta get back
Sorry.
on the conversation. We're not too far from being done. I really want to
No,
get
we're
into
chilling.
some politics after this, but I want to get a little bit more into the parent side because I think the parents'
Soccer
conversation,
politics.
I have a parent's
soccer
question.
politics, yes, not actual
What's your
politics.
question? Let me go. I got you. What you
Parents'
need?
question.
What you need?
This is a number one issue in the United States.
What is
Parents.
it? Uh-huh.
Yep.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, by far.
How do they deal with that in the European institutions?
They don't. They
I've
don't.
heard.
What's it
Nah.
like? What's
I
it
heard
like?
they don't.
So I've heard it's different because
The culture
everybody's
is also different,
played.
though.
everybody's played.
That's a good point.
So
Ooh, I didn't think
they-
about that part.
They think they know the game, and so that's when they run into a problem. Or like,
You're a crappy coach because I know better than you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or like,
That's fair.
or someone did play at a very high level, right?
And they actually do know
Yeah,
better
they
than you.
actually do know better than you. Like I coached Claudio Lopez's kid. You know Claudio Lopez?
I remember you telling me about him. He's Argentinian. guy?
He played for the Argentinian national team.
That's
he scored
it.
in the World Cup
That's-
against the
oh.
Netherlands.
He got a cap in the World Cup.
I mean, he was the starting striker for the Argentina national team.
Yeah, that's sick.
And he was their starting striker and
Yeah,
scored against
that's
the
sick.
Netherlands team with like Van der Sar and all
That's
that.
sick. All right.
So,
All right.
He was a technical.
So
he
you
played at
chatted with
Rapid.
this dude,
I coached his kid.
coach's kid. Obviously means you chatted with
Yeah,
him
I've talked to him a lot.
a little bit more than once.
He was a technical director at Rapids. He played for the Colorado Rapids. He played for, was it Valencia? I don't know. He played in Spain. Like when we went to Spain, everybody was like trying to take photographs with him. And everything, like very famous.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows who this guy is. And I'm like, okay, well, this guy clearly knows,
Knows-
soccer.
Knows
better
his
than-
shit.
Like,
Yeah.
this guy knows. And so I would always be like, always trying to talk to him. But he, because he also coached as well, like a little bit, just kind of ran the technical stuff for the Rapids. He was always like, you know, he was just like tell me things. He would never like come up and be like, well, you're doing this shit wrong. You're doing this shit wrong. He'd be like, not like, hey, coach, good to see you. And then we would just like talk. And
Yeah.
he would never like coach from the sidelines, anything like that. But he came from a higher level. A lot of people are trying to coach from the sidelines, but he was like a very respectful
Yeah.
like person. But I'm like, this guy, I gotta always be on my game because this guy right here,
That's the guy that's
But-
watching you and knows what to look for.
yeah.
You know, and that scares me because then you want to be on your P's and Q's, man.
I'm like that dude. I'm like that dude's more qualified than my technical
Yeah,
director.
average
and
parent in
my-
Birmingham doesn't know anything, so you can do whatever you want.
I mean, that's literally that's everybody. He knew more about soccer than 99% of the
Now,
entire
all right.
country.
What's his experience over in Europe or in Argentina? That was South America. So what was his experience overseas? Even that's not really even overseas. You know, we're like connected to South America.
I never like.
You haven't chatted with him
I
about
was
that.
always scared. I mean, they moved back to Argentina.
Oh, so he's not even here anymore.
No, I think Argentina or Spain. I forgot. Yeah,
From what I understand, it's like the culture over there is different though, and people in America feel like they're entitled to be able. I pay for this. I
Yeah.
get to tell you how
Yeah.
this is going to run.
yeah.
And especially in the culture we've grown up with here in Birmingham, the Mountain Brook, I'm just not scared to say any of this crap anymore because like I don't work in this fucking industry anymore. Mountain Brook is entitled. And Busa lives in this little kingdom of Mountain Brook where they feel they can kind of manipulate whatever they want. And a lot of these parents have had that ability wherever they've been to do that.
Well, the thing is like they all own their own businesses,
Correct.
or they all do. Like
They're all
something
high-level
great.
people, and
Where it's
they-
like they don't get told no.
And if
ever.
they do,
Yeah.
I'll just do a workaround
Yeah.
and I'll get what I want.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how this is ended
That's
up working.
everywhere.
It is everywhere. And that's everywhere for in America.
Yeah.
And I don't and that to me is the biggest problem with parents. I see and I want to make this call out because if parents are watching this, I feel like they should know this and hear this. And regardless if it's you that fits this mold or not. Like let the coaches do what they're going to do and stop trying to feel like you can impose your will onto the whole system because chances are you're not understanding the full picture of what's going on. And therefore, you're not seeing the whole thing. And I feel like parents over here just feel like they can just jump in and do whatever they want and however they feel, and you're just a child. How many times I had a parent pretty much tell me, like, what do you know? You're just a 20-year-old. What do you know? Do you have a child? Do you do this? You know? And I'm like, have you ever played soccer before in your freaking life? I've been doing it longer than you've had a child for. Like, I know the game. It's not about how to raise your child. It's about how to coach him through the sport or whatever. And they just feel that entitlement. And I feel like Europe doesn't go through that. I feel like the culture over there is way more, if I don't like what I'm getting here, I'm just going to leave. And I'm just going to go somewhere else and get it over there. But I'm not going to sit here and play some political game, you know? And I'm not going to try to force and impose my will upon people. And the system there, I feel like, is... And I also feel like Europeans don't give a shit. So they'll just be like, fuck off, you wanker. You know, like, I'm not doing this, you know? That was my problem with American parents. I just truly feel like they can impose their will more.
So is this because the kids that come play soccer in the United States come from typically, at the very least, middle-class families?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or higher, yes,
Whereas
absolutely.
you go
It's
to a
expensive
Europe
to do this.
Or a South America, and it could be middle class, could be upper class, but also
Lower class, too.
major
Yeah,
lower
poverty,
classes
yeah.
play it.
I mean, look at what's his face, Argentinian Messi. He was poor, right? I mean, he didn't have any money growing up. He played on the streets. Am I wrong about this? Am I right?
No, you're right.
So, like, in other countries, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you're poor in America, you think you're going to be paying $1,500 just to get on an ECNL team? That's not travel. That's not equipment.
That's like $15,000 a year.
That's just to be on the team. Then you pay all the other stuff, you know? So, like, and there's very few amount of scholarship players who you're so good that we'll pay you as a club. There's very few amount of those, and the clubs don't want to pay that because it's funny to me that Busa is a not-for-profit. They're the most for-profit, not-for-profit I've ever seen in my life. Like, their budget has got to be just right, and they've got to make their money, you know? Like, that has to happen here, but they're not a for-profit company.
That's where Russia is.
And that's another problem. That we're starting to dive into the political side of the whole soccer youth world. But really, to finish on the parent side, is I just really they feel like they have the money. I feel like America has this entitlement culture built into it, where we feel like we're just able to do that kind of stuff in America, and we can get away with that. I don't know how that formed necessarily, but I feel like that's more of an American culturized thing that has been created, that people feel like they can just push their will on shit.
As somebody that works in the industry, I do not feel comfortable talking about club politics, and I will play my politics by not talking.
Man, I want everybody to notice really quick that is why this is so bad. It's so bad. He won't even want to talk about it because it really can screw you in the end.
Enjoy my Cahaba brewing.
This is the problem.
American Blonde, sponsored by.
What have you dealt with politics?
Caba.
Come on, you don't want to tell your story about how you just got screwed by a club?
Nope.
Why not?
Because
You don't coach for that club.
No.
Well, but like you don't. But I'm serious, and you don't have to answer. Like you don't actually tell the story. But why don't you want to actually tell that?
Because to me, like, they mean nothing. It's a small club.
Yeah, but you're
And, like,
explaining to people the story and bringing to light what it is that goes on. So, what consequences do you feel that would take place if you were to bring that to light?
I don't know. I mean, it might not. I mean, it's the same right with the business world. Like, you know, some people might not give you the same opportunity again. And,
This is cracking me up because it's almost like I'm so deep into the politics that I don't know where this leads. Therefore, I can't go down the road because I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And if I can't tell you, then I can't go down it because it could lead me to dark places.
Yeah.
This is how deep the politics
Like,
go.
I play safe hands.
That's business.
It's business.
This is business to a certain degree, but I think it's like exponential in soccer. It's tribalism runs really, really deep. I don't see this in the corporate world like I saw it. Like I'm way better at politics now after getting out of soccer in my corporate life.
It sounds like I just need to get a different job.
Well, I think in soccer there's
If
no,
you get a job in politics, you'll be phenomenal. You
there's no
see it?
structure there. It's just like it's a free for all politically. Like
Well-
you can do whatever you want to people.
Well, there's no
Yes.
like HR department, right? So
No.
like the HR.
None of
Because
that.
so when I was doing my like leadership and organization,
That's a good point.
it was like we had to build or like talk about what we work in right now with our organizations, and everybody was stunned that there's no HR department, and it's all DOCs or technical directors
Yeah,
that are half
The people who
HR.
run it are also the people who are like moderating
Yeah,
it. You know.
exactly. So it's like if they don't think it's right, then you're done, right? But you have nobody regulating that, but the person in charge who's creating all the problems.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like you
Yeah,
can't. There's
yeah.
no like third parties. Like, bro, you're like you cannot do this.
It makes sense. And as somebody coming from a corporate environment, which is I've worked for Coke for 5 years.
Yeah, you're corporate as shit.
like
You could not be.
it
more
is
corporate.
hard to get fired.
Oh my God, yeah.
I have a lot of HR protection. I have an advocate that's there in case like something happens and I got somebody to protect me. Soccer has
None.
nothing.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you didn't come drink with
Nothing.
us last night.
Fired.
Yeah, you're out of here, man.
We
I'm
found
not
some.
going to give you that team that you wanted anymore.
Yeah.
And there's
gonna
nothing.
prevent you from having, another $5,000 in your life.
Actually, my best friend's coming over, and you're out of here.
That is all too real, man. Where it's like, I have a friend. Sorry,
Yeah.
it was really great.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you saying? I think you know.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. It's
You
like,
know?
you're qualified. You have everything. You've done everything right.
Or maybe you're too
But,
qualified.
but you're not a friend.
Yes. I'm telling you, there's an in crowd. And like, I want to just explain to people real quick. There's a club normally has a board of parents, right? Have you ever
Of parents.
of parents, right?
Which is also a problem.
Well, that's yeah.
Yeah, like
Stressful. Let's go back to
not good.
stressful.
Even though the club that I coached at down in Florida, Hillsborough County United, which turned into TBU, Tampa Bay United, they had a board of parents who were not allowed to have a kid at the club. I found that very interesting, and I thought that
Smart.
club board was actually one of the better club boards, you know? And I thought the people who ran it were actually pretty legitimate for the most part. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. But like you have one like Busa, the problem with the board system that I see is that, all right, so this is a true story about Busa at this point. Brower, the head DOC of the whole club, gets fired, all right? Well, what does he do? He turns around and goes to the board and to the biggest sponsor for the club, Red Diamond, who he knows very well personally, and pretty much convinces them to retract the sponsorship if this really goes down, which then gets the board together to have to we're splitting sides now. Now we're playing real political games. Now it's either you're on his side or you're not. So then you start shifting how everything's being flowed, and then his side wins out. Next thing you know, everybody against him's no longer on the board anymore, and they've just completely changed the board. You know, like this becomes an issue when you know that half the parents on the board, he's coaching their kids.
Yeah.
This isn't a good thing. So they're doing what they feel is best for their child, not for the club and the betterment of the whole club and what's going forward. They're solely based on their child. And once their child leaves, they just leave the board too. They don't give a shit anymore. That's the end of that, you know? So like everything they do is truly based on an idea of what is best for my child, not the club. And that's not a good part of the board when you're trying to run a corporation or a not-for-profit, which is such bullshit.
all profit.
It is. They make millions. They're totally for profit. You know, like they'll just claim whatever they want to claim. But we all know the real truth here. You know, I mean, half the money, half the job of the DOCs is to go out and raise money.
Yeah.
You know, it's like their job. The part of politics really does bother me. But now that I know that Chace isn't even going to talk about it,
I talked a little
you
bit.
just ruined the whole
I
podcast.
talked about it a little bit.
Ruined the whole thing.
I talked about it a little bit.
A little bit?
That was a little bit.
I wanted
She
stories.
gave me the nod. See, I did all right.
She loves you. Of course she's going to give you a nod.
Yeah, but she's like you though. It's like a love.
I'm not giving you a nod, so.
No, it's like a love, like you did something. Yeah, it's like a love. Not hate's a strong
She's
word.
letting you off easier than I'd let you off.
Okay, we'll go to town. Actually, let's see this. I'd like to see this.
I don't want to see it.
I don't.
Sorry.
I guess I don't see.
I don't want
can
this
you-
on the internet forever.
And you can't even talk about your time at Busa. Why not?
What
What
Busa?
concerns you
Oh,
so much?
Busa?
Yeah, talk
talking
about
about
Busa.
Busa?
That you can talk about Busa. You can ignore the Denver life because you're in that one. That's fine. I'll acknowledge this. Okay.
Oh, that's fair.
But if we want to go back, who gives a shit about Alabama and Busa? No one cares about anything.
Maybe
And what?
her because she wants to move here. What else?
What are you gonna go work for Brower?
I'll go work
or
for
Tomas.
I'll go work for Vestavia.
I'd rather work for Brower at this point than Tomas, you know? Like, actually, I'd rather work for what's-his-face over at Vestavia.
What's his name?
Luke?
Rocky.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky,
I'll
I
go
think,
work-
is the most competent of all
I'd
of
go
them.
work at Rocky.
I'd work
with
for
or
Rocky.
Luke.
I think he at least understands
I would just
what
go
to
work
do.
for Legion and be like, cool, I'll just help run like a youth.
I don't think I could do that.
A youth. Just let me run all your youth.
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think I could do that. All right, but what's your give me some
What?
some juicy details on Boosa, man. I want some good stuff, you know?
Don't, if
No.
you don't ever do that again, I'll do that.
No, for real though, like what was your biggest issues with Boosa?
Oh man.
I can't wait to post this on Facebook later and be like, parents, watch us bash Boosa.
Just clip these parts out. Here's 30 seconds of a, what is it, A-level coach bashing Boosa.
You are an A licensed coach. This is true. You are actually like higher. You have like better licensing than like every coach there at Boosa, except
Top
for like
level
maybe
coach
Brower.
discusses why Boosa sucks.
Yeah.
Nah, it was. That was very political because I wasn't in the end, right? Like this is where we get into that.
And why don't
like,
you feel like you were in the end?
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I couldn't,
fair.
I couldn't be honest. Like I don't know.
Truly fair.
I played at the club. I had a higher license. I won
You
with.
played for the ED. You played
Yeah.
for the executive director of the club.
won with every team. I helped develop every player that came.
All right, but
to
give me an honest answer. If you had to pick something that you felt that you were not good enough, I can name you one thing. So like
Probably maturity.
maturity in
communication.
what aspect? I can give you a direct one.
Go.
And I was
I don't know,
I
'cause
was the same problem as you, and they even told me this was a problem of mine. Communication.
Yeah, communication.
Again, this is what we laughed about all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't send an email out every morning
Yeah.
just to say, hey guys.
Yeah.
So like, what are you doing at 8 a.m., Chaz? We didn't see an email, so what you doing? Not on the in crowd. They want emails out constantly. They want communication. They want like, hey, Chaz took 4 hours to write me a text back today.
Yeah.
Brower, I want something done about this.
Yeah.
So then I get a text that's like, why didn't you respond back? Well, it's probably because he wrote me at 6 a.m. and I went to bed at 5 a.m. So it's probably why, if I had to guess, Brower, you know, like
But it's like I don't know.
I didn't need to text him back until soccer practice anyways. What does it matter, you know? But that's an important aspect of coaching.
But you know what I think also, and it's kind of what I learned at my previous club. I feel like, and so I feel like it's similar to Busa, is you'll be giving things if they know they can control you.
Yes.
If
Oh
they
my
can't-
God.
If they can't like control you, then they
This
like,
has been Parks down
Yeah.
to a T.
Yeah, like if they can't like manipulate you and move you like
Yes.
a puppet, then like they
Yes.
even no matter how good you are, then they're not gonna give it to you because like you're gonna cause problems. You're not a yes person. You're gonna
Oh my God. This to me is the number one problem with politics and tribalism in club sports is they want you to just do what they want you to do.
But that's not
Don't-
how good businesses work.
No! Don't
Like,
ask questions.
Like Google doesn't work like that.
No one works like that. This is the stupidest mentality ever. You know, like they would get mad if they called you on a random Sunday at 3 p.m. and you weren't there to show up in like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
They get pissed about
Yeah.
this. They'd be like, I can't believe you're not going to be there.
You're doing other things.
Yeah, like on a Sunday at
but
3, what are you doing?
But it's like, dude, you were literally golfing
Yeah.
yesterday, and I needed you, and you
Yeah.
were golfing.
Oh, that
or
doesn't
you're on
matter.
vacation. I can like
Yes.
already have plans and do
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
It's not I'm not scheduled to do anything.
Yes. Well, look, my favorite was when they sat me down and told me about all these things that I needed to do. And then when I said, I do 90% of those, and they said, verbatim, this is the quote, when do I have time, Chaz, to come watch your practices? Holy shit. Did you just say that to me? You just told me to do all these things. I do them, and then you told me you don't have time to come watch me to prove that I do them?
Yeah.
Can you tell me how that works? How am I supposed to fix this problem?
You know what allows
Tommy,
for all this
how am I supposed to
bullshit?
fix that? You know,
As we talked about how there's no HR, there's just no like.
there's no accountability.
structure,
There's
accountability.
no accountability at all.
Any of that. So
No.
it's just a wild west, and like
He knew that day in that meeting, that piece of shit, that he was allowed to say whatever he wanted to me, anything he wanted. It did not matter what he said.
Probably has no idea who you were or what you did.
Exactly. He didn't even know I was the goalkeeper director.
Yeah.
He had no clue.
Yeah.
He was just there to tell me what Ben and Brower told him to tell me.
Or like,
and then shut up. He would do this thing every time I'd say something. He'd be like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't really give a shit what
Who
you
was
say.
this?
Tommy, what's his face? Tommy
Crocker,
Crocker,
Red
so-
guy?
Crocken or
Cro-
whatever. I don't know.
something like that. What are you doing, pup?
Hi.
You can come over here. I don't care.
Please.
He came down from Nashville. He got paid $60,000 to come coach twice a day for 2 sessions that he wouldn't even coach. You'd go over there and look, and he'd just be like standing in a random corner.
He literally just plays small-sided games.
He
all
plays
day.
small-sided games
All the
every
time.
day. Like, couldn't believe what was going on at this whole thing. But anyways, that's a big problem that I see is, like, he can do whatever he wants. Once you get to that level and you're on the end and you're the Andrew Brower or the Ben Parks of the club,
I feel like if I was a TD or if I'm running a club, I feel like you just need an HR department. Just like hire like one person.
yeah,
That
but
knows, like,
you're
runs-
putting yourself at risk, and they don't want to do that. Because you're putting an HR over yourself now
Yeah.
to monitor what you do to your employees.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you get a better product.
Look,
People
this-
will be happier
This is why I support
because there'll
you.
be there'll be more security.
Chase, this is why we have long talks about how I want you to continue in the sport and continue coaching. Because I think you have the right ideas about the way things should go forward.
Can this dog get up
Chaz,
on the couch?
I want this dog.
Sure. I don't give a Do it.
Move this mic.
I love you.
Go for it, pup. Yeah, enjoy yourself up there.
There's a name for like what that is, where you have one person in power at the top, and basically they want no accountability.
A
or
monarchy?
regulation.
Dictator.
Yes,
Keep
there-
going.
A king?
We're all we're on the right track, but there's something like the name is even worse than all of those, and
Satan? I don't know what you're looking for here.
but it's like a little fiefdom that they want control
Yes,
over, and
yes.
they don't want any of that shit because it'll fuck with.
They're all psychopaths.
They have a little bit of when a person gets in control of something, they usually like to stay there.
Power
Like how
breeds
many
corruption.
Clubs, how many clubs out there are putting HR, even if it's just like a third-party HR representative?
Even if
within
you
a
did it
club?
like,
Zero.
Even if you
I'd say
did
about
it
zero.
Zero.
Even if you did like I don't know.
You think Rapids or who is it that's the largest club? Rush? Is Rush the largest club in America?
Yeah,
Do they have HR?
I'm sure they. I don't know, honestly.
They don't.
Probably,
no.
I mean,
and if
might
they
say
don't have
do,
it,
but at the same time, like
their HR is like their finance lady.
but,
Get
like,
out of here.
If they have HR,
It's not HR.
which they might, I don't know. They have like 40,000 kids like throughout.
They
the
don't
world,
have HR.
But they within the club that I was at, which is the Hub, you had 4 directors in 3 years in my position.
Yeah, the turnaround rate for coaches is absolutely.
I would say that
Astronomical.
somewhere over the course of 2 years at somewhere like Busa, you probably have a legitimate like retaliation case where a coach didn't do what you wanted, and so okay, next year this guy didn't do it, he gets shit.
We'll give him a.
Or he only gets one team.
We'll
instead of
give him a
3.
team, and then we'll see. And if he does really shitty with this like shitty team, like we won't give him any help to do this team, and he does bad, we'll let him go.
If somebody documented all that over the course of probably 2 to 3 years,
There'd be a lot of people.
I
being
think there would be a
fired.
case for
There'd be a lot of people
some
being
sort of HR
fired.
action.
Oh my God! Half of Busa would no longer have a job anymore.
Well, that's just half the club.
You
every
know,
club.
every club would be like that. I know that Vestavia's doing shady shit like that too. You know,
Homewood, we're fucking class, baby.
Homewood, go to Homewood.
Go to Homewood.
Homewood.
it probably happens at Homewood too.
It probably does. You're just not in on that right now because you
I'm-
know you got to get deep, man. Look,
I'm not deep.
the guys who are
shallow.
the part-time coaches who are just there to come in, coach their kids, and leave.
They don't get it.
You don't deal with any of this shit. You just
Yeah.
come in, you see that you get all the good stuff. Actually, that's really where you want to do is you want to be a part-time coach. The full-time guys like you, Chase, are gonna get the shit. You're the one trying to fight through the crap, trying to get to the next level. To me, I've always looked at it as like there's a barrier, there's like a wall, and you have to crash through this wall for years.
Turd wall.
Yeah, turd wall. You gotta get through it, man.
Gotta
Once you
get smelly.
once you get through, though, you're in. You're in the in crowd, and that was your problem, Chase. You hadn't broken that wall at Busa, so you weren't on the in crowd yet. You know. And I also think they find you as a threat. You're a
Better-
good
better
coach.
life.
Parents, people like you. Well, some parents did not.
Well, yeah.
But that's
There's always gonna be
normal.
Some parents don't like me. Come
Dude, parents hated me too,
way
man.
Too much for people sometimes.
Look, cut their kid and see what happens.
I'm kind of, yeah. I know I'm too much for everybody in this room.
Are you serious? You ever met me, dude? I'm like on cocaine 24/7. Can you imagine if I actually had cocaine? This would be a disaster, dude. People would hate me for real, more than they already hate me.
I don't hate you either.
Hey, that's shocking, guys. Thanks.
That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Because we don't hate you.
And Lacey likes you.
all right. Well, do you have any other final thoughts before I ask my last
Oh,
question?
shit. Missed. What?
Any final thoughts on any of this? I'd like to know more about your Busa side, but
What?
you
I was told what? I was told if I got a U19 boys team,
Yep.
second team,
Yep.
this team with Para and Justin. All of
Yeah, I
them.
love that team. Oh, that's the one that won state championship. It was like the big blow up PK at the very
Yeah.
end down at Gulf Shores
Yeah.
or whatever. Dude, that was sick, man.
I
And
was
we all
told-
rushed the field or whatever. That was
I
sick,
was
dude.
told to coach this team, and if I won with this team, I could have.
They didn't think you were gonna win.
I
They
could,
totally
I could have an
called.
ECNL team or whatever I wanted. Okay, done. You're telling me this is the only thing? They're like, you need to quit coaching high school. I just won 3 championships in a row, John Carroll. It's like fine. I'll
Yeah,
quit
but you know, club coaches look down on high school coaches.
I know.
This is
Even
a
though
real
I
thing.
literally got all of their
Doesn't
ECNL
matter.
girls.
They look at you as coaching a club team. I mean, a rec team.
yeah, no.
That's how they see
Except
that.
it's all their ECNL girls.
Yeah, well, I mean, you
Cam,
are actually coaching
Caroline,
at a
Nicole,
real level,
yeah,
yes,
all
but
those-
we're not going to get into that
Yeah.
one.
And then won 3 in a row with them, quit, got this team. They're like, look, coach this team, whatever. Cool. That's it. That's all you need. Done. Easy. You just want me to win? Done.
Which
Easy.
you did. I was
Easy.
there. I
Easy.
witnessed it. You won the state championship. You can't win any higher than that. There's no way you're going to win a regional championship with that team. It's just
But
not
they didn't have regionals.
See, told you couldn't do it.
And you're right. Like, that team, like,
I can't believe you won state with them.
I mean, we're down 2-0.
I cannot believe
We
you
were
won
down
state with
2-0 and a 10-minute halftime.
Yes.
And
Got a
we
red
came-
card. That's right.
Yeah, at
That's
halftime.
right.
And we came back to win in PKs.
Dude, one of the best games I've ever witnessed in my
We
life.
scored 2 goals at the end of regulation. Is 0-0.
You
No
know.
equality.
You know, Brower and Ben got on the phone that night, and they were like, "Can you believe this motherfucker actually
I
did
told
that?"
you. I told you.
So-
I was like high school, right? Like all you have to do is win.
And now we're gonna have to
That's what he
deny
told me to
him
do.
something because we can't give it to him because we got to give it to Jay Hammond.
Yeah, so what happened? Oh, my God, that's what happened?
Probably because
That or
I
Nathan.
feel
That
like
or
we
Nathan.
left and Nathan and freaking Jay Hammond suddenly were like DOCs, like they took over the club. Jay Hammond got sent over to Trustville to become the Trustville executive director for a little bit.
And they got fired.
By Busa.
By
yeah.
Busa, he was
That's
put
hilarious.
in by Busa
That's
for sure,
hilarious.
and
So
then
they tried
got
to take him
fired
over.
because they realized what was going on, and
Yeah.
then Trustville was like, "Well, shit, we got to fire this
Yeah.
dude because it's pretty much Busa coming in and trying to take over our
They
club."
probably shouldn't have fired him and should have just like let that happen. But that's a whole nother
That's
topic.
tribalism, though.
No, you can't
We're
do
going
that.
back to the tribalism.
You
Yeah.
can't do that.
So you won with the state. You won that team with. You won the state championship with that team.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't
They-
dude, they didn't care at all. Like, I literally would train that team at Brookwood Forest at 8 p.m. every night. I had
Yo,
the
you
white
did
coat,
wonders with that team. That team should not have won state
and I was
championship.
just like, whatever.
They should not have won. That was a good team. Everybody was good players, but should they have won the state? I don't think so, man. I think you did a miracle.
Not down 2-0 with 10
No,
players.
with 10 players, you worked a miracle with that team, and they didn't give a shit. What did they do? For real, what did they do? They did nothing.
Oh no! And then
What'd they tell you?
Where did I go? I went to dinner with Ben. They're crazy Cajuns.
Probably
somewhere
made
on
you pay for the
280.
dinner because he's a douche.
And he's like, "Yeah, we'll do this." And I was like, "All right, well, what about this? Because this is what I was told." And then
He's probably like, yeah, that's what someone else told you.
he's like, I don't know. Like, I might just keep you with the boy side. And I was like, well, you told me if I did this, I can whatever I wanted because I just proved it to you. And then we would always hang out, and I'm like, dude, I'm moving to Colorado. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like,
And
I'll
what did I
just
tell you
move.
at the time? Get out
Yeah.
of here.
And so I called Marina, and I
Go.
was like, Marina. That's when I just like flew out to see Marina, and then
Best
just drove
decision you
the
ever
next
made.
day, like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it's the best decision you ever made, man. Boost is the only club to coach in around here at that level, if you
Yeah.
want to go the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a place of, like, political death. You pretty much have to sell your soul to the bin devil. And if you don't, then you're screwed, you know? And that's kind of the way it works. So look at the way they treated you, man. And you want to talk about territorial? They're super territorial about ECNL.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're not to let anybody else in there unless they deem you a yes man.
Well, that was like Rush too, and I'm like, bro, I just did this. I just won with this. I just promoted this. I just created you this. And I was like, you should put me in there.
Well,
I'm
look
like,
at Jeremy Hampton.
Yeah.
This is about the most yes man I've ever seen in my life. You know? What a douchebag, but like a yes man. And no wonder he's still there and he's
Yeah.
still doing everything they want. And I'm sure he does whatever been asked of him, you know? And that's what they want. That's what they choose to have there, you know?
Can't have that.
No, you cannot have that. That's not how you build true clubs and development players and everything. All right, last question of the night. All right.
To Matthew Sullivan.
I'm back.
No, to both of y'all.
Okay.
If you could change one thing about youth soccer, what would you change? You make one rule and everybody has to follow it. You change anything you want. What would you do?
What I would really try and change is we kind of touched on how, like, typically the clientele of a soccer club, like a Busa especially, or a Vestavia, is going to be kids with, at the very least, middle-class incomes.
Yeah. So you want to make it easier for the
Something...
the lower class to get in.
Something that allows, like... I mean, it's a huge undertaking, but... Something that gets, lower class, or not lower class,
So it's not
but
just
lower
rich
income.
kids that can get in and play the game.
Yeah.
You want to make it a little bit more accessible, like other countries have it, where you can get in these places. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that necessarily, but I agree with you 100%.
I don't think that's necessarily going to bear a lot of, like, return on that investment. But
Immediately, but it probably will in the long term for the global game.
yeah.
And if we were to do better on a global stage, more kids would then want to play the sport.
I just think it'd be a beneficial thing. I can't think of anything better to say right now other than...
The most politically correct answer that you could possibly give? Yeah. Don't worry, I noticed that. Yeah.
Help the poor kid.
Yeah. World hunger.
So that's a good one.
It is. I think
No, I mean, I'm not arguing with
if
it.
Busa makes a fuck ton of money, which they do.
They do. Oh, my God, yeah.
How can they not, like, give some fucking scholarships to these kids that go to Ramsey or some shit? You don't have to push the line all the way into North Birmingham. Just move the line over the mountain.
In all fairness to Birmingham, to Boosta, they do a little bit of this. They do Restoration Hardware or Restoration Hardware. That's like a place,
Yeah, that's a
actually.
place.
Restoration Academy or whatever, where they go to inner city school places and they allow kids to come play for free. They do some of that. And then they do give scholarships. Look, if you're a talented player, Ben's going to let you play for free. He didn't give a shit. He probably won't even put you on the roster. It's just come play, man. I don't give a shit. You know, that's why Luke was going around to all our games at the time to go write down all the rosters to make sure that the rosters were accurate. Shocking. But yes, I agree with that. And I think they do try to do a little bit of that. Could they do more? Not even a question. They make plenty of money. They could absolutely do that.
I think Colorado's pretty good at that.
All right, what do you got to say?
Ooh. That's tough for me. Like, I don't know anything within the soccer.
Within youth soccer, anything you want. Can't go to college.
Oh, okay. Because my thing might have been like,
I would remove college soccer if I could do anything. But
you gotta keep it.
no, you don't. That's a disaster.
You just gotta update it. You just
No,
have the same rules
no,
as football.
no,
Okay, we're not
Chase.
getting into this 'cause
You don't.
This is a different argument, a different time, and Angela is not want to stay here for her whole life.
That's why I'm trying to close it up. So why don't you give me a good answer? You already refused to talk about politics, and now you're not giving me a good answer here.
No,
I'm
I
really
would
disappointed,
say-
you, Chase. I'm really
I would
not.
say,
Sully was a
like-
better guest than you.
I would. That's impossible. I would say.
I'm just trying to piss him off.
Maybe like a U.S. soccer type of deal with like within the coaching licenses or within like their structure.
So the structure of the macro level of coaching.
Yeah, maybe that.
What would
or
you wanna
like,
do?
Or just like within they just change every year. It's like they change something different. Like they change like what they're trying to teach.
U.S. soccer is like a massive soccer club,
And so it's like,
just poorly run. You know.
I mean, I've met some incredible instructors and some incredible like
yeah,
people.
sure.
And then like, but it's like it's always changing. So like, what I learned at my A is totally different than what they're doing the A now, and it's like a year later or 2 years
Yeah.
later, 3 years later.
Which is really dumb. Look, they can't figure it out.
That's the problem.
They
is that
don't know.
We keep taking information, and it's good. Like you always want to progress and update, but it's like they don't have like this is our goal.
There's no standard.
And the problem,
There's no
and
goal.
there is a thing like we are a massive country, and I would say the next thing is like if I was U.S. Soccer, I would pay for more scouts, and I would go look at all these smaller clubs because there are some bomb players at these smaller clubs.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
like can't drive to Rapids.
Yeah.
They can't drive to Del Sol.
Well, this gets into
in
his idea of
Arizona.
they can't afford it.
Right. So that's
don't
why
have the
you
money.
have to.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford it, to pay for more scouts to go to these smaller clubs and get in contact with, you know what I'm saying here? You like that, don't you?
You let
I'm thinking of like some sort of 50 to 60 scouts
Yeah.
in the biggest 60 cities in the country.
So like Atlanta has 1 or 2, and all their job is to go out and find kids for
Yep.
clubs.
Yeah.
But like which club? Any club? One club? All clubs?
Well, they can rank. Everybody ranks the clubs, right? So you just rank the clubs. And you're
Well,
like,
this is getting who ranks those clubs.
I mean, you're saying there could be like political.
I don't. Well, you're getting even more political when you start talking about all these like little.
I would need to see how many clubs are available to scout within like Atlanta, because I'm
But you
sure
could
it's
do it-
way more than in Birmingham.
but you-
Oh,
but-
well, they have 9
hold on.
million. We got 1 million.
but you can do it this way.
9 times at least.
They have
Hey,
9 times.
You
the
can do it this
people.
way. You can do it this way. Like, okay, look, you have a kid that lives out here. Okay, you look, you're like, cool. There's 2 soccer clubs. This soccer club is more competitive than this rec club.
Yeah.
Okay, this is closer to their house. Boom. This is the club. Like we kind of.
You almost want like a U.S. national team scout to come in and moderate how kids are being distributed in a
That's
city.
what
grassroots
Yeah.
scouting
Yeah. And
from the national program.
Very interesting. Like, so you're telling me, let's pretend Birmingham has this real quick, okay?
Okay.
So we have a
it's easy for
scout.
y'all.
I'm going to pretend I'm the scout. I go out, I find this kid, and I'm like,
Where'd
you're.
you find them?
I go to some club in Montgomery.
Are we finding a club or just like?
No, I'm going around to games.
Okay.
All I do is go find
Okay. Like a
rec-
Sunday league or anything.
I go find any clubs that are
Okay.
playing state league games
Okay, go,
under a certain
go.
age, like 13,
Go.
in the state.
Yep.
I find this kid. He's 8 years old, 9 years old. I'm like, man, this kid's really talented. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get him to come up. So you're talking about high school only?
No, I'm just saying.
'Cause
Like,
I think you got to get him in early. So if
Well,
you're gonna
no,
do
no.
this, you might as well just go ahead and start doing
I'm
this
saying
early.
There's different levels, right? Like some kids at a middle class, lower middle class, and lower at 8 and 9 years old, their family is not going to drive them to Booster and Vestavia.
So could at that this is getting into a deeper conversation. This is where I say that cities need to be more connected, and you need to be able to get between places better, because
but
then you
that's
could
a-
solve this
that's
problem.
A lot, yeah, but that's not,
Then because Busa even entertained the idea of like, do we have a freaking travel bus that goes and picks these kids up that we pay for drivers to
Yeah.
come bring them and drive them back? Look, we had kids that flew in from Mississippi for a practice.
Yeah.
We had kids that
I
would
know.
drive 4 hours one way for a practice.
I know people that do that. at
You know, so they're in
Rapids.
the car for 8 hours doing their homework in the car and shit. So like
crazy.
some
I
kids
know Rush
can
wanted to do that too.
some
Pay
kids-
somebody full time to just
to
like,
just go out and pick kids
Yeah.
up within a certain radius
Yep.
of the city or
all
whatever.
the parents had to meet at a certain place, pick
Yes.
them up, boom. we'll go
Yes.
back here.
And I think that's a fantastic idea, something like that. But all right, let's go back to my original point here. I go out, I find this kid. He's a certain
Okay.
age. I think they're talented. You're telling me I'm the one that gets to then decide,
Not as-
unpartisan, who he or she plays with in the city.
no, it's more like recognition. Like
I just tell the clubs, and then they just open market go after this
it's
kid
like a recognition of like
with capitalism. This kid to death, you know.
It's like this kid exists.
Who's got the highest bid?
So you wouldn't go to like a Busa, you wouldn't go to Vestavia. You would go to like smaller clubs.
So a Homewood.
maybe, but Homewood's still a little more mainstream, right? I'm talking
But
about
they're already a small club then.
yeah.
If they're not a Homewood size, then
No,
they're
that's
part of
different,
the
though.
rest of the state.
No. Because Homewood is very middle class and higher. And
It's
it's,
a-
very look, hold on, man. It is very like everybody knows like in Homewood they have access to Busa and they have access to Vestavia.
Yeah, but they're like a top tier second division club.
I'm talking more
And I'm talking about like a third tier club.
I'm talking
Then
like
go pee.
Go pee, dude. You
Sully has to pee. Go
I'm
pee.
gonna wait.
Sully's
pee
gonna
my
wait to
pants.
pee.
Angie, you can come pick me up tomorrow because Chace and I
Don't
are
pee
gonna
on my
argue.
couch. That's not fine.
That's
not okay.
So it's one of those things where it's like kids that would never
He's
have
going
the
pee.
kids that would never have the opportunity to be seen by a Busa or Vestavia
But
or
who
Real.
do they tell about that kid? Who do I tell? I see this kid. What do I do next?
I mean, maybe it's just like you have like a. So if you have like 2 or 3 people, it's easier for me to connect to Colorado now.
Okay, that's fine.
So you have like 5 scouts or 4 scouts within Colorado.
Yeah.
And then you have like your own database. You sent to all the other scouts right within your database.
So you would create a list
Yeah.
of kids,
Yeah.
where they're from.
Yep.
Would you give them a ranking?
Just put my beer in my lap, but no worries. I mean, I would say like I haven't really gone deep into that.
Okay.
So my whole thing
And that's
was
fair.
just-
You can take back anything
No,
you want
no,
in the
I'm not-
future.
I'm
I
not-
just am
I'm not-
curious to pick your
I'm
brain
not-
about
I'm
this
not
idea.
no, I think the scout there's got to be more scouts, right? We
Okay.
don't have enough people seeing all the people. Our country's too big.
I guess
You
your problem that you want to solve is to go find the kids that are being missed.
Yeah, because unless you play ECNL
Yeah.
or MLS Academy from U13 and higher, you are being missed. And there's some people that don't have access to ECNL and MLS because of the state that they're in,
Yep.
or because
Yep.
their families don't have the means to drive them 4 hours, or because both parents work, or they just play in the fucking backyard.
Or
man.
even a bigger problem that Joel and I used to always talk about is marketing. They didn't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You're just playing soccer and you don't know better.
Or
you know?
like I even do it now. Like when I was getting kids from Rush to Rapids, and they're like, "Well, what's the difference between Colorado Soccer League and ECNL and MLS Academy?" And I'm like, "It's a massive difference. We're gonna go play this, and this. All the college scouts will be in these.
You
things.
don't know.
And
You
it's
don't
like,
know.
And now you have scouts coming on and be like, no, this kid needs to be. And you can honestly, if you want to dive deeper into it, it'd be like, okay, Real plays a more physical, more direct style. We have a kid that fits that model. Hey, Real, boom, here's this kid that you might want to look at that's going to fit your style of play, that might actually develop and better and go play college and go play pro, because this is our main goal. The main goal for every club is what? To put kids on the national team, so we have the best national team. To put kids in college. That's the only thing clubs are supposed to do.
Hold on.
That's the only thing.
You are right,
the
but
only
that's
thing.
not what they would tell you.
No, but that's the only thing they're supposed to be doing.
That's what they would politically tell you.
Yeah,
That's
but
not what they're doing behind closed doors.
No.
They just want kids on their club to win them games.
and to
pay
make
them
look
money.
good and to get money.
Boom. They don't give a shit
No.
about the national team.
No, but that's their goal. That's their job.
They tried to stomp half those kids from going to bigger clubs when I was
yeah.
there
When
because they
we
didn't
were-
want that. You know?
When we were doing our A, the guy that runs the coaching, all U.S. soccer coaching, goes, "How good the national team do?" And we were like, "Oh, they were shit." And he goes, "Well, that's everybody's fault in here."
Yeah, absolutely.
Because our job is to make sure that we have kids that are good enough to be on this team to represent the United States.
Yes.
And we all failed that.
Brower and Ben and Tommy at Busa are absolutely part of that problem.
I mean, it's just. But
There's no question in my mind.
it's just the bigger picture, right?
It's
Smaller
a-
picture. But that's what I say for scouting, right? Maybe you don't give them all the clubs, but if you realize that these bigger clubs have a style of play, or there's somebody that unlocks them.
I think where you're going with this that I like.
You
in my
like
head.
that?
All right, so I like this idea of that you
Solly
have.
liked it.
I'm a third party person for Birmingham.
Yeah.
I go out, I spend a whole amount of time
Yep.
watching players and putting scouting reports together.
Yeah.
And that's all I do. You then can get subscribed to my scouting report. You can see what my scouting reports are, and you can try to go after these kids accordingly. It is going to
Maybe.
market.
Yours are a little different.
But
Yours
like-
are a little more business.
But the part that I'm trying to get at here is like I'm not trying to be partisan to one club.
Yeah.
So I have to try to find a way. And then another part of this is like I'm gonna make my sheets, my breakdown, so that you can try to fit what player fits you best. This is a player that looks like a midfielder.
Yeah.
It's a player who's very technical. It's a player who's very fast. This is one that's very tall. You know what I'm saying? So like you can kind of figure out what you're looking for, and hopefully this is truly capitalism. You're capitalizing the hell out of this.
This
whole-
is a better version of capitalism.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, my thing was more.
Look, we're getting more kids out there. Isn't
Well,
that the
that-
goal?
that's what it
Get
was,
more
right?
kids exposed.
Was-
That's the
but
purpose
your whole
here.
job, like, so if you're sponsored by U.S. Soccer, right?
Yeah.
Your whole job is to, like I said, get like you might be able to put a kid in college that never had the opportunity to go play college. It could be fucking community college, but now they have an opportunity
Yeah.
to not have to pay for college and get college education.
Yeah.
Or they get the chance to go play pro, which they never in
Yeah.
a million years should have had that chance.
Yeah.
But because you scouted this random kid in Billings, Montana, or somewhere in South Dakota, Drugwall, South Dakota, and he was playing near that T-Rex billboard, and you see this kid, and
Racist.
you're like,
Wall drug.
Just racist.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
I was
Just
like,
messing.
and you need to
Wall drug, dude.
Wall
is that
drug.
is that
That's-
Wall drug? Are we
Wall
thinking
drug.
about Wall drug?
Yeah, sorry. Wall
Have you
drug.
seen Wall drug for real? Yeah? Holy shit, dude. That's hilarious. We saw those signs forever. So long we had to stop there.
Yeah.
We stopped.
And
Stop
then
a
you're
wall
like, cool.
drug.
This kid, we need people need to know about this. Kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, this kid needs an opportunity.
Yeah.
And maybe U.S. Soccer gives scholarships.
Yeah.
Maybe something happens, but you're opening up doors to people that because they don't live in the heart of L.A., they don't live in Denver.
Yeah.
They don't live in Atlanta or Chicago
Half
or
of
New
the
York.
ECNL program is not Birmingham.
Yeah.
They're like Mississippi and rural Alabama and Mobile and shit.
Yeah.
You know, like we're a regional club.
Yeah.
That's a regional program
Yeah.
that's being played.
Or like because USL is more and ECNL is more like Florida based, right? Like I'm like, okay, you're not Miami, you're not Orlando, you're not Tampa, and you're finding somebody within those like little gaps of bumfuck.
Yeah, Ocala.
Yeah. And you're like, cool.
No one
Boom.
knows where Ocala is, but it's a pretty bigger place, but no one really knows about it, and it's out on the outskirts of Tampa and Miami and all. I mean Orlando, and I'm sure there are a ton of kids there that are very talented. Actually, I played with a girl who played for the Atlanta Beat. She was from Ocala originally. I mean, we're talking about a girl who was just as good as like any guy I'd ever played with. This girl was legit.
And so you just
know,
do it that way.
you gotta. I actually really agree with this.
You like that?
I like this,
Thank you.
Chase. That was a really good idea. I think it needs to be flushed out, but like that's a really good foundational idea.
Look, I haven't gone
get it.
any details. It was just an idea, and I'm
Which
like,
is
I don't even
totally
know how
fair. Yeah.
I don't know how to capitalize on such a massive country,
But you're
just to
absolutely
get
right.
Eyes on.
And you know what's funny is both of y'all's answers are actually very in line. How do we get more kids exposed?
Yeah, we're the same.
You want more lower class. You just want more kids. Same idea. How do we get more kids into the sport? This just tells me that y'all are in it for the right reasons. And I think that's like why I got out was because too many are not in it for the right reason. And they just want to make money and shit on people and have their little, I'm here, I'm the executive director,
Yeah.
I'm staying here forever, and I'm
gonna
making
make-
my money
I'm gonna
and
make
go away.
$200,000. Leave me alone. I coach the best teams, make 200,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really kind of embarrassing, but
Interesting.
that's the way it is. All right, any last things? That's all I think we've done.
Lacey, she's asleep. We bored her.
I'm sorry, Angela, that you had to actually sit here and suffer through this.
Next
I've
time,
been-
next time I'll just come by myself and give her my keys so she can go party.
Well, if you come by next time, you better be willing to talk more about politics.
And I'll be running a club by then. And,
Then you should, sure, you are the top dog. You have no HR. You are HR.
not
So,
bringing HR in.
like, what does it matter? You can say whatever you want
I'm
at that
changing the
point.
landscape.
I don't know. You said you deleted some emails earlier. Don't ever delete. any
Yeah,
emails.
amen to that, dude. I agree with that. Don't ever delete anything, man.
Everything
I-
is
Unless
documentation.
it's incriminating on you, then delete it.
Even then,
immediately.
somebody else has got it.
This is very true. You better delete yours and pray. I probably haven't.
Yeah, Chaz found it.
Do you know how much incriminating evidence I have on people? It's not
Not
good.
on me.
It's not good. Not on either one of y'all, actually.
I know.
If they're
Not
listening
yet.
out there, they know who they are. They know. All right. Anything else y'all want to talk about real quick? Any final words? 'Cause I'm gonna get up
But
now.
now
and-
I'm gonna have to go try and find this email that I may or may not.
Dude, if you
do.
find that, can you read an email out? You can skip all the names, but can we just get one email read at the very end here? Because you know some parents are going to watch this one day, and they need to be educated. That's really what I want this to be for more than anything, is that if someone in this realm of soccer wants to figure out how to navigate this and be more educated on it, then they can come watch this and get a little bit more of a feel. A lot of these parents don't understand half of this. They don't even know any of the politics are going on. They don't know how any of this works, really. No one knows that people like Ben are like doing illegal things behind the background. They don't know these things, you know? So like there's a part of me that wants to kind of bring a lot of that to light, you know? And I hate to be calling out one person over and over again,
Dude, it's gonna
but
take me a
you
while.
do illegal stuff. So
It's gonna take me a while to find this thing. Yeah, we'll do it later.
you know
I'll
what
just
I'm
send
gonna,
it to you.
I'm
You
gonna
read
have
it
I'm gonna have
yourself.
you send it to me, and I'm just gonna redact all of the names and post it at the end of this podcast. All right, thank y'all.
Yep.
If you want to say anything, you better say it by the time I get over there and click the button.
Okay. No,
good.
you're good.
And even then, I probably will delete it.
Yeah, just
so,
delete it.
Yeah. But this was live though, right?
Yeah, we kind of screwed ourselves on that one.
Okay.
I can't delete it.
I'm waiting for him to hit the button.
Yeah. Go. Sprint.
Clicked.
He didn't click it. He lied.
You don't want to say anything? I clicked it. I'm done.
They're
Well-
not. It's such a. Don't ever.